Spirited up to the end. When she got cancer, it was a blow. It was 1984, and she had breast cancer, and at that time the treatment for breast cancer was not nearly as sophisticated as it is today, and she was told she was not going to be living very long. She followed all the doctor's orders, but she decided that after she had lived 2 years after her first diagnosis of cancer, she was going to continue to live, and she said frequently, "I'm going to live until I die," and she did.
I think her last years are also part of a lot of people's living and dying because of how she dealt with the deaths of her parents and how she dealt with her own cancer and the chemo and the radiation and all that it did to her, and she still kept on going. And I think a lot of people derive inspiration from that. And it's like they're saying, if she can do it, I can do it, you know, dealing with cancer or dealing with any kind of terminal illness.
One of the things that happened to her at the end of her life is that her breath, she couldn't breathe very well, so she lost the ability to sing, which was a terrible thing to have happen to her. So the choir came to her little house in Canton, and I came into her living room and crowded in the 55 students that I had with me. And we sang "Roll, Jordan, Roll," a very upbeat spiritual that says, "When I'm going to go to heaven when I die." And it's the only time I heard Thea cry, but when we were done, she burst out crying, saying how beautiful that was and how she appreciated the fact that we came and sang for her.
She died peacefully early in the morning on Friday morning, and I remember they called me about 7 o'clock here, and then I called the president of the college to say that Thea had died, and then the bell began to toll 52 times to mark the years that Thea had died.
Let us go rejoicing to the house of the Lord.
It really was so much.
Let us go rejoicing.
She knew who she wanted to say the Mass, and who to give the homily, and who to direct the choir. She called those shots. The only thing she didn't get was she wanted it all in Canton. And the bishop here said to me, "There's no room in Canton in the church." So that's why we had it here in Jackson.
She was a quintessential religious woman. She really was true to her vows. She was a quintessential black woman. She knew how to survive. She was a quintessential woman in her suffering, and by her suffering, she let other people know her, and they got to know her because she shared her suffering with everybody.
They said she didn't miss a beat. She could be with, you know, bishops and cardinals in one room and walk down and be talking to the maintenance guy in another and not change. She was just herself, or with little kids or grad students. It didn't matter. You know, she was just always herself.
They remember her by the person she was and what she stood for and what she tried to instill in others.
I think she's touched so many lives that a lot of times we can't verbalize it anymore, but it's just part of our being that we just live like because we met her, and it's better.
Thea's legacy will probably be deeper and more broad and farther reaching than any of us know at this time.
I think because so many places are still honoring her by dedicating schools to her, or resource centers, or attendance centers, or homeless shelters, or whatever, that her message is still being heard.
Before I came to Boston College, I didn't know who Sister Thea Bowman was. And so I remember I watched a video about her life, and through the talks of the different people who had met her, I came to see a beautiful person who really saw God in everybody, in all the people. For me, that was very, very moving. And I felt that since this house is named after her, that is important for the students, the next generations of students, to really learn about who she was and to learn from her legacy and to learn from her teachings and from what was important to her. The people who have the gift of bringing many different kinds of people together. I see that that was a gift that Sister Thea had, the gift of finding joy in everything that we do and finding God in everything that we do. I think those are some of the qualities of Sister Thea that I see reflected in some of our students here. Being able to cross barriers and making sure that people find common ground to work together towards goals that are positive and that benefit all.
I think she opened many people up to finding out who they were as people.
She was known as a shooting star, and when I get down and out, I talk to her here. I say, "Oh, Sister Thea, you have to help me here." I mean, I just talk to her just like she's here. So I guess that part of her spirit still lives on, and I just still relate to it.
I think people will remember Thea as a teacher and a preacher and a singer, and I will always remember her as a friend.
She's been a blessing. She was truly a blessing in my life, one that I never, never, never thought would happen to me. And just to be with her those years changed my life, and I'm grateful. And I know she's happy to be in heaven with her parents and all her friends who have died, but I still miss her. So, thank you.
My people have been a loving people, and I'm proud of that. We've been a people of song and story. We survived oppression, and we're still trying to survive and still trying to keep on keeping on. I like being black. I have friends who are white and brown and yellow and red, all the colors in between, and I love my friends. I love to be with them. I love to share with them, but I like being myself, and I thank God for making me my black self.